The Spiritual Investor Mastermind just opened for enrollment, and I'm going to take a very brief amount of time here to talk to you about it because it is your final time to join this year. People have asked me what is the difference in the podcast and the mastermind, and I would say that it is a grounding of these concepts in a way that when you're able to do the money practices in real time with me and you're able to invest based on my personal stock list and then learning how you can pick your own stocks, you're also learning about the market and how you can read between the lines and what is going to be the impact of AI coming up, because there's nothing scary out there, but what is happening out there is momentum is high. Things are happening fast. And wealth is all about positioning. You know that from listening to this podcast. And the thing that I would say that eludes people the most, but you get to solve in the mastermind, is how to move money from frequency into your bank account. And so all of that coming together, in addition to you won't recognize yourself after, really sets one of my favorite places to be. I mean, the podcast and the mastermind, those are my homes. And I keep it intentionally small because it's a powerful group. It will fill up, and I want to see you in there. So we've put a link to apply in the show notes. You can get the early bird pricing. I would definitely not wait, so you can get in on board with that. And get ready. Buckle your seatbelt, because we've had people take this multiple rounds and it has been life-changing. I'll see you soon. Welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Investor Podcast. I'm so happy to be here with you. And I want to talk to you today about opportunity. I always say that it doesn't matter what the market is. It doesn't matter what sort of side of the graph different assets are on, whether they're in the money, out of the money. There's always opportunity. And Warren Buffett, of course, has been one of the most influential people to show us this, because he's made more money in a down market than he has in up. And so with all that we have going on in the world, with the landscape that we have coming up, which no one can predict the future, but at the same time, we can feel the future and we can feel ourselves in the future if we really pay attention, I'll say. And that is sort of a focus plus a state of awareness. And we can also read the writing on the wall just even by what's going on with the people around us, and to some degree, even what are they experiencing. You know, there was, I was just listening to something with Ray Dalio, who is one of the largest wealth managers in the world, and to see, you know, what are his thoughts on things. I've always kind of ignored what Ray said. I think he's highly intelligent. I love the way he brings in data and history and all that, but he's on a different frequency. And while he has predicted a lot of that's gone on in the market, he has predicted more that has not happened. And so there's no judgment here. There is just there's an awareness. There's a watching of what is it that he has said that could potentially be in line with something relevant to me. And then how do I want that to shape my expectation? And so opportunity is coming at us in micro ways. And whether we really realize it or not, we are designing our life on an ongoing basis. We think we're designing our life when we sit down and go, okay, let's plan and make decisions. We are designing our life based on the self-expression of who we are either choosing or not choosing to be. And when I say not choosing, it's basically who we are unconsciously being. So I want to talk about that, because that in lies the opportunity here. One thing we do know about the world is that it's moving fast, right? And there is no time. Time is a concept, and that's why each of us experience time differently. A day to you feels very different than a day to me. A day to me feels very different depending on what I'm experiencing in that day, right? But I also listened to, an interview with Elon Musk last week, and, getting his take on, and he has a whole different concept of time. all of his world has been built on the singular concept of tell me what you want to do in 10 years and I'll show you how to do it in 6 months, right? What he does is he chooses the most illogical thing that's outside because he chooses from beyond. And then he becomes the self-expression of that by either himself or building a company or a team or whatever. That's just the way he lives. And then there are certain people who, and you probably know people in your life who, they don't want change. They build their world around, I want everything to stay exactly as it is and to stay the same. And there is no wrong or right here, because you came here as you're forming into this physical entity, your consciousness who is dropped into this physical entity, who then gets to experience the world in order to feel our own consciousness. And that in itself is expansive. So we're like a plant that's growing. All of this all ties back to nature. We are nature. And so just like a plant is going to find, the most effortless path through the dirt, when we are truly being source, we actually are finding the most effortless path. And that's something that is going to tie in with this opportunity thing, because you think that opportunity feels, oh my God, I can see how this is all going to work. This feels great, da, da, da. But the greatest opportunities are no different than what Warren Buffett has shown us, which are the greatest opportunities are in the contrast. And so contrast actually turns to suffering when our emotions get taken down the river. But contrast in itself, if we can stop that momentum, or if we can have the level of awareness that, wait, this is something that I'm needing to see, that in itself is how you speed up your momentum. That is how you collapse time, because everything already exists around you. Everything, it exists in parallel timelines. And so what happens is you pull down a timeline and then you become the self-expression of that, right? And so the more that you are the self-expression of that new timeline, that is what is determining time. Those of you who put something out into existence and actually you're like, wow, it happens. That's because you have an expectation. You have a certain level of believability. You have a certain level of certainty about it. And you also have likely lowered your it needs to happen as well. You've given it space. You've given it the room. And so the opportunity right now is that momentum is high, really high. We can now do in 3 days what it used to take us to do in 3 years. And it is expected, who knows if this will happen or not, but I can even say predicted, that AI will supersede the sum total of human intelligence within 5 years. So we do know that we are getting the opportunity on many angles. One is AI. What does that do? That makes everything more efficient for us. It's a tool for us at this stage, and we get to basically take who we are and what we want to do and magnify it and expand it out into the world. It's what we've been asking for. But if we're in resistance to it and we're like, oh, we're worried about what the economy is going to look like, we're worried about the job, da da da. I'm not saying you don't look at that, but I'm saying, you're actually determining your speed, and just notice that is going to in fact slow you down, right? So let's say that you pull a new timeline down, which means you have brought things into your life that you've wanted, right? Let's say it is a new product that you're launching. Let's say it is a new relationship. Let's say that you're healthier than you've ever been. It could be anything. You have brought something into your life that you have wanted, but almost felt like, gosh, could I even get that? Could it even be that good? And so what happens is that shows up in your physical existence. And because everything in the physical world requires your energy, then you as source are putting that energy behind it. then what happens is if you are not the self-expression to match that, then your energy isn't matching it, and it will adapt, change, and it will go away. Now, what happens is, for the most part, you go through a calibration process. You're not just going to be like, I want a new relationship, and then suddenly you are everything perfect and wonderful in that relationship. That's probably not going to happen. And so what ends up likely happening is you're going through this calibration period in which you are presented with contrast. Hey, by the way, Elizabeth, this new thing that you asked for, that old way that you were, it doesn't fit here. Would you like to change? Well, maybe. What's it going to cost me? What's it going to, do I have the time? Do I have the, we go into all of these things, right? And then what we do is, because a lot of this stuff is blind to us, because it's not that clear cut with someone's like standing across from you, handing you a slip of paper. Would you like this life or this life? What ends up happening is the contrast creates the illusion that something's wrong. And that something wrong is, what else in my life is breaking? Well, because the things that are breaking, you have attached different meanings to them, then you have no choice but to think, there's something here that I need to do different. Or these things that are wrong are showing me that this is not the right path. A lot of times people go and they go to the gym, myself included. Like I've been doing CrossFit for the last couple of years. But recently I've gotten into other things in my life. I've been traveling more. I have a new relationship. I let go in the business, right? And so I've been doing things in a completely different way. I'm stepping up to the plate much more so with my family than I ever have. And so I have all these things going on. Well, I haven't been going to the gym as much, and I don't have the muscle mass that I did. I mean, I still do, but not to the level where I had placed that that's when I was winning. And so what I've done is I've said, okay, well, naturally the old version of me wants to see that there's something wrong. But what if that's exactly what better fits in my life going forward, right? Am I willing to experiment with that? Am I willing to experiment that personal development wise, I am getting my hair blown back right now. And what I've actually been doing is sleeping more. What I've actually been doing is walking. So can I drop the story of it being wrong, and can I take on, I don't know what this new life of me being an elevated leader in my business is going to take, because I haven't been her yet. But it might be that she does sleep more. It might be that she shows up differently when we're working on a project, which is exactly what's happened, by the way. We're going through some changes right now at work, and I noticed myself, and this is usually how it happens, is that you experience it and then you notice it in reverse. I noticed myself going into this not from a place of, well, we tried this and I think that we should change this and this is the way that it should happen because this works better for me and it works better for everyone. No, instead, I honored I let go. And what I did is I made a new definition of what does let go mean. When I started with this whole I'm letting go, which I said in December 2025, what that meant for me is to step back and stop making so many decisions. Now, thankfully, I had a good friend that came into the company and helped bridge this gap. And that's another thing, too, is that I talk about the bridge. The bridge is very important. The spiritual investor is the bridge for you to get from one life to the other, because like sometimes it is too jolting to sort of drink from the fire hose. So this friend came in and she, for about 3 months, was kind of a go-between. And it was enough for me to go, okay, I will allow myself to calibrate to this and to keep seeing this as I'm expanding forward through letting go. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but I do know that I am the problem in terms of our expansion within the company. And that's could be right or wrong. I mean, if I looked at only at 3D evidence, which I don't, but if I'd looked at just 3D evidence, I would have seen, well, how could that be true? Because we make more money every single year and my team loves what they do and da 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 da. I could have done that, but I didn't. I said, well, my success is not just based on money. My success is not just based on those things. My success is based on, am I becoming the bigger version of me? That's my ultimate, because that's actually what fuels my happiness, is expanding into getting out and connecting with more people and being more of an open conduit for this information to come through, right? So what I did is I said, okay, that's my version of letting go. Well, now today we're partway through the year, halfway through the year. And so now the version of letting go today is, no, I am in there making decisions. But guess what's different? I have come to the table with a whole new energy. And my role with all of the team and my relationship, because that's all we're doing is talking about relationships in all areas of our life. Everything comes through co-creation. My relationship with the team has changed. And guess what? We have made more money this year than ever. Why? Because I did what I knew that a leader would do, that I wanted to be. And that is let the creativity of everyone else come to the forefront, to know that I'm not right. And so really it comes to your greatest success is going to come from you unknowing. And when you unknow is actually when you are able to see inside of the contrast. The moment that you start to, when you're faced with the contrast and you pull and become entangled with all the other areas of your life that you think is contributing to it or not contributing to it, or if I do this or if I do that, you don't know what the mix up is going to look like of your life going forward. I didn't know what the mix up of a leader was going to look like. I just knew that I wanted to have an effortless way and I wanted expansion. Now, that's why working in the world of energy actually works so much better than a 3D plan. Besides the fact that the 3D is just a lag effect anyways, because it's just you and you are creating it. When you walk in the room, you are creating the conversation by the energy that you're bringing to it. And I'm either shut down or I'm open to you or I'm somewhere on the spectrum of that. And you are creating it all. If someone does something to you in a relationship, look and see where you created the space for that energetically for that to show up. That is the big thing. And so me coming back to this, my team with a new energy brings me to a more open space because I'm more connected to me. And energy is the state of being effortless when that energy is authentic. It does not require any effort when we show up authentically, when we show up with love, because that's all there is. We're transmuting all of this energy, and all of it is love because the only energy that exists is abundance. And so you are on varying levels, you're translating that. Now, within that, this does not mean that you're supposed to have this rosy, wonderful, everything's airy-fairy life. Actually, when you do that, you could be going through a state of avoidance. And I'm not saying that you don't look at the 3D evidence. The 3D evidence is also a gift to you. I'm saying that your interpretations of the 3D evidence are wrong in comparison to the newly created version of you. So everything that you thought about, and especially the things that you are so defensive on, those do not apply to the new version. You have to believe that. We talk about this as breaking the structure. You have to believe that to discover the new version, to see where those values drop in line to that. Because the new version, if you do go into it open and clean, that's why you get everything through a state of allowing. You increase your state of allowing, which means more is coming through. And when you diminish your interpretation of that, then what happens is that energy, that new energy that's coming through, will match up with the frequency of the authentic version of you. And you can trust that the authentic version of you knows exactly what you want. You don't have to get up every single morning and hold up a signpost and say, I want $1 million business. I want to be a good mother. I want to have perfect health. You don't have to hold up that signpost. The moment that you do hold up the signpost, you have become defensive. And so the language might be out here, and behind it is lack of energy. And that's what you're creating more of. Anything that you already know you have, you don't need to tell me about. And you knowing that you already have it is you in tandem with Source, because Source knows that everything is accessible to them. Why? Because Source knows they create everything. And so you are out here wasting your energy to a certain degree because you are feeling like you need to tell everyone what you need or who you are, when in fact, your self-expression, that tells me who you are. The space that you hold for me, that tells me who you are. And when you're defensive, that tells me who you are. When we relate this to money, we know instantly if somebody is in lack with money. You can feel that. You cannot feel your own money normalization. You cannot feel your own money frequency, but you know your money frequency because it's reflected back to you. Whatever money is coming to you, that is your money frequency, because the universe is simply a reflection of us. And the only way that we can clearly see is to go, that's my frequency. I'm good with that. But I want to be at a different frequency. And then when you want to be at that different frequency, part of that responsibility and that desire is to get into certainty with it, because you can't call in anything unless you're certain about it. Certainty is Source. Source is certain. So if you want to call it in, you can still call it in, but you're going to slow your momentum if you're certain and then you're uncertain, and you're certain and you're uncertain, because it's going to come in, it's going to go out. It's going to come in and go out. Now, when people are raised in survival, you see this with money, they're used to it feeling like that. They think that's what the universe is. They think, oh, it takes a lot of time and effort and sacrifice on my part to get $1 million. So what they do is they go into that lack and then they try and make it better. Well, let me allocate time over here and let me do this and let me do that, right? No, the only thing that's happening is you want that $1 million business, and it's normal for you to have to wait. You cannot see your agreement that you live most of your life in waiting energy, because you've been taught that that is the way things are. Nothing predicts the way things are in the future. Nothing predicts that. And really, you can actually look at that phrase two ways, because nothing, which is space, is what allows everything in. So when you go to nothing, you actually have more. Just like when I had this unknowing of, I don't fucking know how to run this company. I mean, I do, and I'll do what I can, but every single thing I do, I need to look at myself in terms of, is that effortless? Is that expansion? And I need to drop my value system, which is, I know how to make money. I was a financial trader. I got 6-figure bonuses. I built a multi-million-dollar real estate industry. I have run this company in X way, and I have this and this and this. Who cares? Who cares? What you really care about is you just want to be more of you. And shouting all that from the rooftop and holding on to that belief and looking for a way that I could still have that is not actually me being brave and bold and saying, oh, wait, I'm ready to meet that effortless, expanded version of me. It's not actually what's happening. And so the way that I do this is I drop the past. Because everything in your world, it contains the past. Things in your world that aren't working likely don't. And it needs to be that way so that you can find yourself inside of that. And you may find yourself inside of it and go, wow, I really don't want this. I thought I wanted this, and I really don't want this. There is really no such thing as working or not working. It's all one world. And so all of it is, this is the timeline that I want. And I am not the self-expression of this timeline. Or maybe you are. Like Eckhart Tolle, when he woke up, he was sitting on the park bench and he realized everything's an illusion and everything's a story. And suddenly he was living in that new timeline. Most of us don't operate that way. I don't. I can feel in that zone that he's talking about, and then I feel it for 3 or 4 days, and then I get back in my story, and then I come out of the story and I go back in the story. Most of us are going through a calibration process, and we don't know why that happens. We don't know if it's a past life thing. We don't know if we chose all this. We don't know if we chose exactly All we know is that the only thing that's happening is that we are expanding through our own resistance, and that 3D evidence that we have labeled and put language on as being wrong, when we see that it's actually a mirror reflection, then we won't try and make it right by doing a bunch of other things that are more related to our old self than are related to our new self. So it's about the interpretation that you have. It's about being willing to not know. And it's about living in abundance, because when you live in abundance and you are connected and you see the abundance around you, then that's actually your greatest safety, because that's all that exists in the universe is abundance, and you are source. And so if you are noticing and seeing and creating more abundance, then it makes sense that more abundance would come to you, right? And then if you see that, well, I did believe in the past that it was going to take 3 months to make $1 million. Because see, that doesn't exist for someone who's a billionaire. That only exists for you. So it's a lie, because truth would be truth for everyone, right? If you can see, well, I did believe that. Okay. But who I am today is the most powerful version of me. What if I never even knew that that was true? Who is the version of you who, if I told you you had to wait 3 months to make $1 million, you would literally think that's absurd? And so it's all about, where is your starting place? And so the internal narrative creates your starting place. Everything is creating from the energy, the frequency that you're on. That's why you get up in the morning. Are you in lack? Because then everything's going to be from that starting place. Are you in abundance? Everything's going to be in that starting place. Are you responsible for the fact that your energy is the forefront of all of it? Because something can seem horrible to one person and seem totally fine, even blissful to another, right? Why? Because our energy determines our interpretation, and our interpretation determines our action, and our action determines our world. So the opportunity here is, the momentum is high out there, and you get to jump on board with this train. But you don't get to take your old self with you too. You can take your old self part way, and you can be on a slower train. If you want to be in the momentum of what the universe is right now, then you will actually end up being extraordinarily abundant in a very short amount in extraordinary abundance within a short amount of time. The top tier of people, humans right now, who are out here doing big things and expanding, because we've been given the tools of acceleration, we are going to blow up and expand rapidly. But what this time coming up with AI is also going to do is it is going to drastically slow down the people who are not getting on that train. And so what's going to happen is the polarity is coming in. And so your training and practice is your whole life. And it is vitally important for you. And I don't say this very often. I'm saying this with complete love, no fear, because ultimately anything you do is perfect for you because you're designing your world and you're the one who knows what's best for you to expand into your own consciousness. But what I would invite you to see is your concept of time is wrong. It was wrong before because nothing ever happens in the time we thought it would happen. When I look back, I didn't get the money in the amount of time I thought I would. I didn't have the relationship in the time I thought I would. I didn't even have the education in the time I thought it would. It took me longer to go to college than I thought. Everything is different, right? We look back and we see that time and emotions, they kind of fade away. But when we look at our life now, oh my God, that's the forefront. We make everything around that, right? Time and emotions. So what I invite you to see is that your concept of 4 months right now is wrong. Because what you can do in 4 months right now, and even if you sit on a log and do nothing, what's happening around you in 4 months right now is going to blow your mind. And so where are you? Where is the new version of you inside of? You have not only been given the tools of expanding, but you've also now, from your level of being and for the advanced level that you're playing at, you have finally been given the ability to collapse time. And when you collapse time, you can do within 4 months what you wanted to achieve in 4 years. And that means, what do you want to do in your relationships? Like, what do I want to do for my family right now who they're in their 70s? Because I can do a lot. I am operating at a level right now in my power where I can do more in 15 minutes with them than I could have in 5 months before. Am I living into that? Am I seeing that? Because what's available on the outside of that is more availability to you, more availability to, I was just walking yesterday and I was literally mesmerized by this beautiful red bird that was in one of the trees in my yard. Like, that leaves more availability for us actually experiencing and living life. And it's all based on, how much power are you willing to bring to the moment, which is directly related to your state of allowing, which is directly related to what you expect in life, because you do not get what you want, you get what you expect, which is directly related to your responsibility for your own energy and for seeing that it's only me and me. It's only me and me, that you are creating the world around you. You do that, you will own the world, because you already do own the world. The problem is you're actually just learning how to allow it in. All right. So much love to you. I'll see you on the next episode.